are we now? And welcome to part 20 of the SV650 rebuild. Things have slowed down a little bit. I seem to have lost my way slightly now I've got the bike running, but I thought I'd buy a couple of other little bits and pieces, so I ordered this from Stig Fasteners, a complete engine stainless steel bolt set. Seems a very comprehensive kit. All the ancillaries that are fitted to the engine, there seems to be either a nut, bolt or washer supplied in the kit, so quite good value for money, to be honest. It might give me a little bit more incentive to carry on and try and get this thing actually MOT'd, roadworthy and everything else. The weather hasn't helped much either. It has been absolutely freezing and snowing again, so that's another reason that's sort of put me off going in the shed. Nice, clear, concise instructions as well. Should make fitting fairly easy. And another piece has turned up as well, so I think we'll make our way to the shed. Well, the weather forecaster's got this one wrong. It was a beautiful sunny day. Double figures on the temperatures. Thought I'd go out on my road bike. Problem was, flat battery. So, next best thing, in the shed, cup of coffee, and let's start work and get these bolts and the fuel cap on. Right, so with the fuel cap, basically I didn't know whether to go for a second-hand set from eBay or go for one of these Chinese jobbies. Opted for the latter, which turned out to be alright. I must admit, for the money it's worth it, but being honest, it doesn't really fit properly. It's just a case of 4 bolts off, take the old one off, 4 bolts on, put the new one on. It is quite a good copy, to be perfectly honest. Alright, the bolts don't really look fantastic, but you don't look at them, do you? And fitting onto the tank, very straightforward. The only issue I have found is that it's quite tight to actually close the lid. Now, when I took a look at the genuine Suzuki and this one, the tab that holds the cap closed on the genuine Suzuki one is right in the middle. The one on the Chinese one is offset slightly to the right, so it just makes locking it a little bit harder. Hopefully it should sort itself out over time. Now, with this bolt set, I was going to change all the bolts that came with the kit, so I took the tank off, but then once I'd taken the airbox and the carburettors off, I looked and I thought, well, it would have been far easier to do this when the engine was out of the bike, so I'm just going to change the ones that I can get to be perfectly honest. Quality seems spot on. All the bolts are the right size and didn't find any issues whatsoever. Did them all one at a time so I could measure the bolt as I took it out, so it was one out, one in. The company even supplied new copper washers where required, so on the water pump itself it's got a nice hex head now. I was up early again, so painted the stay to cover and fitted the new bolts on that side. Looks like I need to degrease the bottom of the engine too. Another little job that needed doing was cleaning this seat pad off as well. Like I said in the previous video, I was going to use petrol to try and clean all the gluey gunk off. So obviously, with petrol being a carcinogenic, I thought, right, okay, we better put some decent gloves on, or protective gloves. And then set to, old pair of jeans, bit of petrol, and then just basically wipe off all that horrible gunk. Obviously don't have any naked flames anywhere because, well, petrol's flammable, eh? It wasn't long before the petrol was doing its job, and this didn't take too long at all, to be perfectly honest, and it has brought it up quite nicely. Next job on the cards was to sort out this seat cover. A couple of cracks in it where it had just been sat outside basically, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I'm not going to buy a second-hand seat. I'll see if I can do my own seat cover. So ordered some vinyl off eBay. It was only £8.50. It looks quite good quality, and set to taking the old seat cover off to use as a template. Now I thought I was being clever because I've got a staple gun and all the rest of the stuff, so I thought, yeah, I'll be okay. Not realising that the staple gun's fine for wood, but the plastic on the seat is quite thick. So once I'd removed all the staples, it was just a case of peeling the old seat cover off. Minding my fingers, obviously, because staples are quite sharp. You always seem to miss one, don't you? And the seat seems to be in very good condition. No problems with it. Slightly damp on one corner, but that's only to be expected. So now I've got my template. Now you can see where it's actually cracked. Due to sun, probably. Removed all the old staples with my pliers. And then started to mark out for the new seat. I did make the outline slightly larger because I can always cut stuff off. I can't actually fix stuff back on once I've cut it. I mean, I've got plenty here. There's enough probably to make about 4 seats, but I thought we've got to give it a go first time. So that's the rough outline, out with the scissors, cut it out. Then offered the new vinyl up to the old seat, and this is where it went slightly wrong because, like I say, my staple gun wasn't heavy duty enough to actually put the staples through the plastic, so they went in about probably a millimetre. going to say is, thank goodness for Evo stick or any other types of contact adhesive, because I was up the creek without a paddle. I have got some Evo stick, so basically I've glued the cover onto the seat base and it hasn't come out too bad. Got a couple of little ripples at the back, but it doesn't look too bad at all. Now, my next quandary were handlebar grips. Some knobhead has gone and put some indicators on the end of his handlebars, hasn't he? So that was a little bit of a head scratching moment. So what I've had to do, I've had to dismantle the handlebars. Clutch side wasn't too bad because obviously we can take all the controls off. Now, one thing I have to say is this hairspray isn't mine. Borrowed the wife's, just to make life a bit easier. I mean, once it's a liquid, it makes life so much easier pushing the grip on, and once it's dried out, it goes nice and sticky, so it actually sticks the handlebar grip onto the handlebar. Was still pretty tight to get on, but it made life a lot easier. Okay, so once I'd done the clutch side, it was onto the throttle side, which was slightly more involved, should we say. I had to dismantle all the plug off the indicators and take the indicator out of the handlebar. Basically, the throttle tube couldn't come off the handlebars because the indicator was in the way. But we succeeded in the end, and I do quite like these Superbike grips, they're quite good. So there we have it, handlebar grips fitted, all back together again. Just got to fit the front mudguard and then basically make up something for the exhaust, and I'm going to get it MOT'd, I think. It'll be easier to ride it to the engineering company instead of trying to walk it, to see if we can get this Panigale exhaust fitted. All I can say is thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next instalment.